Hi! Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to do this. So my name is Danni and I am a consultant with Arbonne International and Regional Vice President. And this is week 4 of our coaching with Coach Jerry and a most fabulous training to deliver back to you guys. This is incredible training. So it's titled 4 questions to ask a new consultant. Okay? 4 questions to ask a new consultant. So this is actually the second most widely used training after the gold card training that Jerry does, and we all absolutely love the gold card training. So this is the second most popular training that all of the VPs use that follow Coach Jerry. So why do we need to use this training when we sponsor new consultants? So first of all, it's simple. You're going to get that in a second. It's effective. So 1, it's simple. 2, it's effective. And thirdly, it's efficient. Okay, this is absolutely genius, but yet so simple, so effective, and so efficient. So if you like simplicity, effectiveness, and efficiency in your business, this is the call for you. You're in the right place. So this training complements anybody working on any system. So obviously in our team, we have our system. We have our top 10 steps to getting started, and then we just keep following the speak to people, booking the appointments, doing the follow-ups and sponsoring. So we just keep doing that over and over and over again. But if you follow a different system, what I'm about to train on can fit in with any system, okay? So this isn't a call about systems. So if you have a process that is working for you, change it. If it's working, so these tools are there for you to find value in them, for you to use them. Okay, so a little bit of background before I begin on the 4 questions to ask your new consultant. So this training came from utter frustration of people not doing what they said they were going to do. So that happens to me, but probably doesn't happen to you, I'm guessing you building your business, you probably don't get people not listening to you. No, that's not true. That builds a business that works with people, like we obviously do, building teams, we get don't listen to us. It happens to everybody. So what I would suggest that you do before I go through this training, and this is something that I do a lot of and it's so effective, is to either record yourself doing one of your appointments. So whether that's a one-to-one or a group event, record yourself for your personal use to listen back on, or have a consultant come along with you that can listen to how to give you some feedback on it. Because sometimes we talk at our one-to-ones or group events, we present and share what Arbonne is, but sometimes we go into a bit of autopilot. We actually don't realise what it is that we're saying. It's really great to sort of get a bit of feedback by either personally listening back to everything that you said, or having a consultant listen to everything you said and make some notes on a few little pointers. And this is something that that I've done before. And one thing we trained on was, he said that he actually asked a consultant who was in his business within his team to come and listen to him. In fact, it was his coach. Sorry, I do apologise. His coach came, listened to him for a day, do his one-to-one appointments. He actually had 5 one-to-one appointments on the day that his coach came to spend the day in the office listening. And his coach said to him at the end, you know, brilliant, fab. One thing I'd say though, Jerry, is 3 out of those 5 people that you did the one-to-one on will not be coming back. Jerry was like, why? It's like I could see by their body language, they were on shutdown mode. You know, you were quite generic in everything that you were saying, and you weren't adapting it per person. You used the same verbiage for every single person, and not everybody receives information in the same way. So what excites you about the business, and this is the same for me, what excites me about the business is the fun, the social side, the emotional aspect that you get from it, and not necessarily the income or the holidays or the car. Those things don't really rock my boat in Arbonne. They're great. I'm not going to turn down a free car or a free holiday, but they're not what absolutely drives and excites me. What drives and excites me is the social events, the fun, the laughter, the friendships, the team camaraderie, the spirit, the culture, the community. So if I was going to share that excitement with every single person that I meet for a one-to-one, most of those people I speak to are not going to have the same values that I have, and they're going to probably be like, oh, I hate the thought of community and team spirit, whoop, whoop, whoop. They're going to hate that. So you can't be generic for every single person that you speak to. What excites you about the business doesn't necessarily excite them. So you can't have the same conversation with every single person. You have to adapt and adjust. And the great is looking at their body language as well. And how each person hears information is different. So again, it's going back to eating the apple like we trained on before. You can either eat your apple in whole, shove it all in, you know, probably going to choke, but you're going to get there and eat it and consume it. Or you can break it into little chunks and just eat it piece by piece. It's just going to be much more enjoyable. So by shoving the apple in your mouth, we're going to relate that to shoving your beliefs onto the person you're talking to. You're going to shove all that on them. You're going to have fun. You're going to have team spirit, team WhatsApp, team this, team that, whoop, whoop, whoop. And if they're not into that, they're going to freak out. They're going to hate it, and they're not going to want to be a part of it, because all they're going to see is what you've told them. So this is where you need to ask the questions and understand that everybody is different and everybody wants to do this business for different reasons. So these 4 questions, you can add more questions if you want. I'm just keeping it dead simple, 4 questions. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just here to give you ideas. And if what you're doing is working, you're seeing your business grow, you're seeing it go up on a nice growth curve, fantastic, keep doing what you're doing. But if your business isn't growing like you would want it to grow, these might be some ideas that you can implement into what you're doing, and teach your team to implement them as well. So these are what I always ask at my getting started sessions before we launch somebody. So if somebody's already decided they want to be a business builder, so on Monday they've decided they want to be a business builder, so you book them in for on the Tuesday to get them started. Okay, so they might have already set up on the website, but you haven't officially got them started yet because you don't want to overwhelm people with information. So you've met up for your getting started session. So this is where you're booking all of your launches and things. So before you do any of that, these are the 4 questions to ask. Okay, and you're probably thinking, well, why do I need to ask them questions? That's a great question. The reason why is, for me, I wanted to get a better profile of who this person is in front of me, so that I can work with their mindset and not work against it. And I actually have a sheet with the questions on, and you can take it and put your own spin on it. So I'm just going to share my screen here so you can see the questions for yourself. Okay, so question number 1. What part of the business excites you the most and makes you want to join our team? Okay, so why would we need to ask that? So the reason why people join the business are usually the reason why people build the business. So for example, if they join because they love the cosmetics, they'll likely build with the cosmetics. Or it might be because they want to go on the holidays or the fun or the good things. You know, it's just good to know. It's a really good question to know, so you can start building a profile up and understand your new consultant. And another thing is, it's good to know because one of the reasons why they probably want to build their business is likely to be one of the reasons why they have excuses why they can't build their business. So I'll give you an example. One of the reasons I wanted to build my business was so I could spend more time with my family. And actually, the reason why you want your business to be really successful is usually the thing that you have to give up temporarily. You temporarily have to sacrifice that thing to get to where you want to be. If you want to build the business for money, you have to sacrifice temporarily money to initially invest into your business for long-term gain. If time is one of the things that you want to have more of, then you have to sacrifice and temporarily lose time to build your business to, in the long run, gain it. So it's really good to know why they want to be a part of the business and why they want to be part of your team. So that's number 1. Question number 2, and do you know what? It blows my mind that this happens in my business, and it happens. So many people don't address this. So how can you get somebody started without asking this? So this is so important. Number 2, how many hours a week can you carve out of your schedule to dedicate to your business so I can help you achieve your goals? Excuse me. So number 2, how many hours a week can you carve out of your schedule to dedicate to your business so I can help you achieve your goals? So you can't treat somebody building their business with 6 hours a week invested the same as somebody that invests 30 hours a week. You need to know so that you don't confuse or overwhelm them. It's so important. You need to know that. So whatever they say, 6 hours a week, 10 hours a week, 20 hours a week, you need to know the answer to that question. Okay, number 3, the third question, and I'm actually going to go into a little bit more depth with this one as well. So are you willing to be 100% coachable? So what do I do with people who are not coachable? So that's probably what you're thinking. What if they're not coachable? What if they know? So people that aren't coachable, people that don't plug in, they're sort of like the lone rangers in the world, and then they complain about everything. And these people can be really irritated throughout the team because they're not coachable, they're off doing their own thing, and it sends confusion across the whole business. So I'll give you an example that Jerry gave. So Jerry sponsored somebody into the business, and he did 2 one-to-ones with his new consultant, Mary. And he showed Mary over these 2 one-to-ones exactly what to do. Dead simple. Share the business. Off you go. That's it. Ask questions before, share the business, ask you questions afterwards. And then on the 3rd one-to-one that Mary needed to do, she asked Jerry to go with her, and Jerry was unable to. So what he said was, I'm unable to go, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a really great leader in my business to go with you. She's fabulous. She's rocking and rolling. She's brilliant. I'm going to send her. So Mary was like, okay, great, that's fine. So this lady went to Mary with her one-to-one, and what she did was radically different. It was nothing like what Jerry had done the first 2 times. Mary was like, I'm so confused. I've watched Jerry do these first one-to-ones, 2 of them, and then what this other lady's done, apparently is like a big rock and roller rock star in the business, is doing something radically different. And she told Jerry, and she said, I'm so confused, I don't know what I'm doing. And Jerry was like, oh my gosh, this girl's a leader in my business. She's just off now doing what she's doing independent. I didn't realize she was training on something completely different. So he said to her, look, you either train on our system or you don't train people. You know, if you want to build your business that way, that's fine, but don't train other people because you're just going to confuse them, and you just don't want to waste energy on that. So if you have uncoachable people, uncoachable people in your business, as long as they're not doing anything unethical, illegal, or causing problems for the company or hurting anybody, just leave them to it. But if they're doing it on their own, yeah, just leave them to it. If they start to build a team, then you've got a bit of a problem, and that's when you might need to reach in and sort of help their team a little bit. But if they're a lone ranger, doing their own thing, not coachable, not plugging in, no problem, let them just do their own thing. Just leave them to it, okay? Don't even count them as a business, but just leave them to it. So number 3, this question, it is so important. So first of all, it establishes your leadership and your team's leadership. So we create a relationship of fun and excitement. But if they don't see the leadership side of us, then later on, and we try and be a leader, it's really hard for them. So from day one, you need to establish yourself as the leader and protect your time. So we have too many people in our business who waste our time. And if we don't put a value on our time, then nobody else will. So doing this puts value on your time. So you can share this question however you like, but this is effective. So Mary, the 3rd question I want to ask you is probably going to be the most important, because how you answer the question will determine how much time I will invest into helping you build your business. So I'm going to say that again. So Mary, the 3rd question I'm going to ask you is probably going to be the most important, because how you answer the question will determine how much time I will invest into helping you build your business. So this totally sets the tone. So Mary, are you willing to be 100% coachable? And before you answer that, let me explain to you exactly what that means. So you don't even want to pause between that. Mary, are you willing to be 100% coachable? Go straight into this. And before you answer that, let me explain to you exactly what that means. So they know what you mean. Okay. When you explain what does that mean, you can determine what that means to you. So I make sure I cover all the things that I know will make them be successful. So there's 4 things basically, but as I say, it's your business, you can adapt this as you like, but these are the 4 things that I do. If you're going to adapt it, you need them to be the things that you want them to focus on to grow their business. So this is what I do. Number 1, team training calls, the importance of them, the value of them. It is their responsibility to put the dates into their diary and be on the team training calls. So once a week, we have a big nation conference call at 9 p.m. on a Sunday night. It's online training. It lasts between half an hour and 45 minutes every Sunday night, 9 p.m. You need to be on that call. That's where the housekeeping and updates is for the week. That's where the training is that you need. And that's where the recognition is at the end for any accomplishments that have been achieved in the week up to that Sunday. The hour before that, I have a little team huddle online where the people that I personally sponsor, mentor and coach, we all come together and we have a bit of a chat about how our week's been, answer any questions, share anything and just help each other out. So you need to be on those calls on a Sunday night, once a week. That's it, training. If you can't get on them, they are recorded. So you need to watch the recordings within 24 hours. Okay. So that's the first thing. Number 2, I'm going to stress the importance of Discover Our Bonds. So I need to you need to tell people why as well. So you can't just say you need to be at Discover R1. You need to explain to them why, because most people have busy lives. So if you explain why and the value that they'll get from it, so you need to say you need to be at Discover R bonds. You know, they run every single month, several every month. You need to be at least one every month, if not two, or as many as you can be, because going to Discover R bonds, you're going to hear the presentation, which is how we build our business. On the presentation, you're going to hear that by different people. You're going to pick up different things. You're going to be able to take guests along to it, and you're going to create an atmosphere and environment that people want to be a part of. You're going to bring your energy and create that atmosphere and environment. You need to be at Discover R bonds at least one a month. So you need to stress the value of it for them. So I'll give you an example. When you were little, did your parents ever tell you not to touch the hot oven? And you probably thought to yourself, but I want to touch the hot oven. But then your parents said, listen, Danny, if you touch the hot oven, you're going to burn yourself, and that's going to hurt. So that adds value to it, because if you value your hands, you're not going to want to touch the hot oven. So you're going to think, yeah, I want to touch the oven, but I don't want to burn my hands because I value my hands. So I'm not going to touch the hot oven. So just telling somebody to go to DAs is not enough. You need to add the value to it. Why do they need to go to DAs? So explain why. Tell them why that's valuable to them, the team calls and the DAs. So I've never met a single person who's succeeded in network marketing who constantly misses trainings and events, who isn't plugging in. Yet we constantly have people not plugging in, yet they expect to win. And it won't happen. So you need to tell them from day one. Don't set them up for failure. This is what it takes to be successful in this business. Tell them, be honest. You've got to be plugged in. DAs and training calls are important. And if they can't be on them live, it's their responsibility to listen to the recordings within 24 hours, to watch them within 24 hours and catch up. If they don't watch them or listen to them within 24 hours, they lose the value as they're rushing to catch up. So it's really, really important. Okay, the third part of are you willing to be 100% coachable? We need to set your launches up within 7 days. And as your sponsor, you can obviously change that, but I like to set people's launches up within 7 days. They're online pre-launches and they're in-person pre-launches. So you need to tell them the reason why. So I say, because the start of your business is when you're at your most excited. And this is when you need to share this with other people. And we need to start spreading the word. If you opened up a shop in town, you would have launches. You wouldn't just open it and then wait several months before you did anything. So you need to express the importance of getting their launches booked in within the first 7 days. Okay, and the fourth part of this is asking them, you've got to be willing to follow the system that I teach you, or that we teach you. So we've worked out all of the bugs, we've worked out what doesn't work, so we are left with what does work. So those are the 4 things that I want people to do, okay? So plugging onto the weekly trainings, going to DAs, setting up launches within 7 days, and following the system. So Mary, understanding that now, are you willing to be 100% coachable? And if she says yes, brilliant, fantastic. And if she says no, or she gives you excuses, or saying, listen, I'm so busy, you know, all these excuses. If someone is already making excuses, then mentally, in my mind, I already know they aren't going to make it. So you can follow through and still sponsor them and do their launches, and you can probably hope that at their launches, it leads you to people, other people, that if they quit, you're left with other people. So sort of like down the rabbit hole, and that's great, and it helps you with making the most of that. But don't spend so much time with this person. If they're not willing to be coachable, they're probably not going to be successful in this business. I haven't actually seen anybody be successful in network marketing that hasn't been coachable or plugged into the trainings or got launched, just followed what they should be doing. So if they say yes, they are willing to be 100% coachable, you've got to leverage them. So later on down the line, if Mary's off doing her own thing, you can check in with Mary and say, Mary, can you remember when I asked, as we were getting you started for your business, if you were willing to be 100% coachable? Can you remember what you said? Let her answer. Don't answer for you. You need her to say. And if she says, yeah, I said yes, or whatever it was she said, then you can say, okay, well, what's changed? So it gives you that to go back on. Okay, so if you hadn't asked that at the beginning, you can't go back and ask that question, so you know what's changed. So it's really good to ask that up front, okay? So that was question number 3. And I know that's a lot of information, but this is sort of like the pivot point. So that, guys, is serious value on your time. People know that you're serious about your time and you're setting the tone of leadership. So going into question 4, how fast do you want to move? Now, Donna Johnson gives this in 3 examples. She says, do you want to walk, jog, or run? Now, Jerry gives this in cars. So I'm going to show you the cars. So he says, okay, so it's up to you, obviously, what you use, but this is just what Jerry uses. So do you want to be a Volkswagen Bug or a Beetle? And that's where you sort of your toes in the water, no sense of urgency. It doesn't matter if they do anything or not. And that's 0 to 5 hours a week. Or do you want to be like a Toyota that's working 5 to 10 hours a week, willing to get into the water, move a little faster, would like to get their first promotion, which, by the way, doubles your commission in 2 to 3 months? Or do you want to be a Mercedes sports car, which is 10 plus hours a week and wants to dive in head first, wants to make money now, wants to get out of their job now, has a major sense of urgency and would like to get their first promotion, which would double your commissions in the first 30 days? So you can either use that example or Donna's walk, jog and run. So asking them how fast are you willing to move, it then opens up the discussion for saying, well, which one best describes you? So most people usually pick the middle one. So they'll say like a Toyota. And then you can go back and look at question 2, which says, go back up to question 2. How many hours a week can you carve out of your schedule to dedicate to your business so I can help you achieve your goals? Now, if they said, oh, I can carve out 5 hours a week there, but then they say they want to be a Toyota, then you say, okay, we're probably going to need to do a little bit more than what's required there. Or if they say they want to do 5 hours a week, but then they say they want to be a Mercedes, it's just managing that expectation then. If they say that they want to be a Mercedes, but it's not in line with what they've said, then they either need to drop back on their goal a little bit, or they need to up their pace on how many hours they can carve into their business. But if they are a Toyota and you treat them like a Mercedes, you're going to lose them in your business. Okay, so that's not how everyone is, or how everyone wants to respond. So how fast, rocking and rolling. Now I have a profile of this person sitting in front of me, so I've got a really great idea. So going back to the apple, now we're taking the apple in chunks and not eating it whole. So you can adapt your getting started process and you can work around the profile that you have for them. So this literally changed my business. And it helps people lose less consultants. And the great thing is, because this is the second most widely used training from Coach Jerry outside the gold card, it's effective for you and for you to teach throughout your whole team, because it helps you understand. It's an effective tool before you launch somebody, and it helps you understand what makes somebody tick. So it's like dicing it up in a manner that you can work with right now and understanding. So Jerry just gave one more example before I wrap up, and he said he's reading a book called The Love Language, and it's about couples and what makes couples tick. And he was saying he's getting married next year, and him and his wife-to-be, Gina, are both reading this book, and it's about putting into an order of what rocks your boat, I suppose. And he was saying that he loves like affirmations, whereas Gina, his wife, she values out of a relationship time. So if Jerry dedicates time to Gina, that's her top most favorite thing, whereas that isn't necessarily his top most favorite. He likes the affirmations and the words and things like that. So they have an order from this book of what they love best, second, third, fourth and fifth. It's like an order of 5, and their lists are different, but because he knows what's on the top of Gina's list, that's not necessarily what makes him tick, but he knows what makes her tick. He can adapt himself around that. So it's not necessarily what you want or what you want people to do, it's understanding them. And this will stop people leaving, and it will just it'll just make such an enormous difference for you. So I hope that this will help you. What I would suggest that you do is you go back to your teams and teach this to your teams and practice it. So I'm going to go back to all of my area managers and my team and practice it on them, and then they then can go, oh my God, this is great. And then they'll go on and practice this to their new consultants when they sponsor them. Well, not practice it in real, but practice it to their team. So by practicing this on people, it gets them excited about using it, and they can't wait to use it on their new consultant. So I hope that's been really helpful. It certainly has for me. So write down those questions, go back to your team and share this by practicing on your teams. Ask them those 4 questions with the bits broken down. Good luck, and let's hear back from how everybody goes. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.